This is the Beer League Fantasy Podcast. Beer League?
Beer League.
I'm your host, Tyler Rose, and we have a special podcast for you today. Today, we're actually going to diagnose our two leagues that we are in. One of them is a standard scoring league, and the other one is our Dynasty League. We're going to go through matchup by matchup, what the projections are, who people are starting, what their lineup looks like. If somebody's on a bye, we'll diagnose that. There's only 2 teams on a bye this week, so there probably won't run into much of that. But we'll go through each of the matchups and we will see. So first off, we'll get right into it. First off is Cody versus Peck. And Cody, you could scroll down, please. And it looks like, so on Cody's team, looks like he's got Matt Ryan for his quarterback. Running backs are Alvin Kamara and Tariq Cohen. Wide receivers are Julio Jones and T.Y. Hilton. Tight end is Rob Gronkowski. Flex is Robbie Anderson. Kicker, Mason Crosby. And defense, Chargers. And Peck's team, quarterback Patrick Mahomes. Running backs are Tevin Coleman and David Johnson. Wide receivers Golden Tate, Keenan Allen. Tight end Travis Kelce. Flex Chris Carson. Kicker Jake Elliott. And defense Texans. Peck is currently favored by 7 points in this matchup. So Cody, since we're actually diagnosing your team, defend yourself on why you're going to win this week.
I honestly do think this is going to be a really tough week for me. Last week I lost to you, and it's just that my players are beginning to underperform. Matt Ryan had a stellar week last week, which is great, gets the ball rolling for me. I needed that. I was 2-0 up to this point, lost last week to him, and Matt Ryan doing that stellar game, I wish I was a win, but I am kind of concerned about my choice of Tariq Cohen. Not very happy with it. He's been doing mediocre at best. An average of 5, 6, 7 points per week.
Tariq Cohen.
Yeah, Tariq Cohen.
Who's your options?
I have Mark Ingram, but I just I kind of realized I have both Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram.
Yep.
Which thankfully I think they're going into a bye week here soon.
Bye week is week 5.
Yep. So.
Or no, sorry. I think it's week 6. I don't know. Anyway.
Okay, I was going to be upset because it means Mark Ingram is going to be out for 5 weeks instead of just 4.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to use it for 5.
So my running back, I'm looking for a running back at this point. My receivers, I'm happy with. I have Julio and T.Y. and I have Robbie Anderson, and I also have. Let's see here. I have.
And this is the Dynasty League.
This is the Dynasty. Sorry.
Jai, you don't like him?
I would play Jai over Tariq Cohen.
Yes, except for he's hurt.
Well, he's probably going to be back this week.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay, so if I can, I'll play
for sure.
Jai. But yeah, my team is mediocre. I do have Baker. Since it is Dynasty, I do have Baker on my bench. Might consider actually starting him. I don't know. Like that's just
You're gonna start him over Matt Ryan?
As a arrow in the sky, hoping to hit something.
I don't think you need to.
I don't think I am, but that would be if I was feeling really risky, and I've been feeling pretty risky.
I think against the Bengals, they are a tough-ish defense. They're kind of banged up a little bit though, and Matt Ryan's at home, and you've seen what he's done in the past.
That's true.
I think you're just rolling the dice with Baker, hoping for a big upside game. But I think there's just more security with Matt Ryan with the passing options that they have. He's just throwing the ball all over the place.
Right.
But you should definitely start Jai over Tariq Cohen. If you need to flex out Tariq Cohen, that's better probably than Robbie Anderson, especially when Robbie Anderson has Jacksonville this week. Shit. You almost can't even. Robbie Anderson is not done good at all.
No, he has not.
I think he's almost droppable.
Really?
I think so. I think there's better options out there. And maybe not in a Dynasty League, but in a Standard League, I think he's definitely droppable almost. I just don't think he's done anything. I don't know. That's me.
What do we think about Peck's team?
Peck's running backs are better. I think David Johnson is going to have a bounce back campaign going forward with Josh Rosen being the quarterback. I think it's going to open up the field. At least he can throw it down the field. Sam Bradford couldn't really do that. So it's going to give him some breathing room. And if they start using him in the passing game like they should, he's just going to have that higher floor. So I think he's going to come back. Tevin Coleman is on a loan, I should say, because Devontae Freeman is going to come back. He is productive in himself when Freeman is there, but he's way better, has way more value right now than what he would when Freeman comes back. So Peck's going to be down a stud.
Who's he got on his bench?
So replacement would be Adrian
Peterson,
Chris
and
Thompson's on a bye. Alex Collins isn't bad. So he's not hurting too bad at running back, but you definitely have to play Tevin Coleman and David Johnson this matchup.
Yeah.
You have to play Tevin Coleman and can't play him anymore. He's just going to get all the production out of that. Like, they're at home this week. Actually, Peck has a pretty good team. It's not bad. Patrick Mahomes lighting the world on fire,
Yes.
though.
Yeah,
He's,
this will be
especially
a
in
test.
Dynasty.
This will be a test
At
against
Denver, so he is away. At Denver on Monday night, primetime game. Let's see what the kid does. He's looked so good so far, especially in Dynasty League. That's one heck of a pickup. But
Yeah, it really is.
I like it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you can say every game's a toss-up, but I do think this game's kind of a toss-up. I think looking at if there's any doubts for either team, I would say Cohen's your biggest question mark. You don't know what he's going to do. And I'd say Chris Carson's probably Peck's biggest question mark as of right now. I'm a little, I wouldn't say like overly concerned, but a little concerned about Julio Jones not being, he's still amazing, but not being as good as he once was, because they've got a lot of options on that team. And
Calvin Ridley, you know,
Just lit the world on
Yeah,
fire.
yeah, he's not going to do that again.
No, he's not.
But he's definitely, in the future, he's a good player to have. I think Calvin Ridley. And then Chris Carson, he, I think it wasn't a fluke. I mean, maybe the Seahawks can get the running game going like they did last week, but history has shown that they don't have a very good running game. So no matter who's back there, they seem to not do that great. So they're against Arizona. Yeah, so I would say that's the battle.
I think he's definitely the back to own, though, in that backfield right now. Like, the last game, he got 30 carries compared to, like, Rashad Penny's, like, 3.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's an insane amount of workload that he got there. I mean,
Volume right there.
until something changes, you've got to almost plug him in if he's going to get that kind of volume. I mean, I think they were leading in this game for a good amount of time, so they were allowed to lean on the run game. But if they obviously trust him, they wouldn't have gave him that many carries if they didn't get the job done. So it's not a bad person to have on your team.
See what's the next game.
But well, we should pick on who we think should win.
Who do you
I think if Cody replaces Tariq Cohen with like Jay Ajayi, Cody, go to your bench real quick.
Yep.
And maybe he plays like Robert Woods in his flex or something. I think Minnesota's a tough matchup on Thursday night, but he's been putting up numbers. I mean, he's still doing fairly well. He's better than Robbie Anderson, that's for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Cody might edge him out.
Dan?
I think Cody.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Cody as well this week. I mean, Matt Ryan's gonna have it still. I think he's gonna have a decent game against Cincinnati. I don't think Cincinnati's defense is anything spectacular. Of course, you got Julio playing him as well. Kamara, I think he's automatic. Gronkowski, he needs a bounce back game.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a stud, though.
Yeah, so.
And the Chargers are playing San Francisco with a backup quarterback. And Cody's got that edge, for sure. on the
Oh,
offensive
yeah, I
side.
didn't even think about that. Yeah, so.
Yep.
I think you'll probably, as you know.
You're going to pick yourself or you want to pick Peck?
I'm gonna pick myself because I need to see it. All right,
Alright.
let's go on to the next game, which
Alright.
is Alex versus Tyler.
All right. So it's me against Alex. We'll go over Alex's team first. Quarterback is Russell Wilson. Running backs are Melvin Gordon and Royce Freeman. Wide receivers are Odell Beckham and Cooper Kupp. Tight end is Zach Ertz. Flex is Philip Lindsay. Kicker is Parkey for the Chicago and the Eagles defense. My team is Andrew Luck at quarterback. Running backs are Jordan Howard and Saquon Barkley. Wide receivers are Stephon Diggs and Brandon Cooks. Tight ends George Kittle And flex is James Conner, kicker, Josh Lambo, and then the Ravens defense. And I'm favored by 5 points in this game.
So, personal opinion, I could see it being very tight. I don't know who else Alex has got. Who's on Alex's bench?
Yeah, let's scroll down. Last week, nothing.
I think he'd probably keep the same lineup.
Yeah, nothing to cut you off, Tanner. But last week, I made the really bad decision of starting Tariq Cohen because you were playing Jordan Howard. Like that to me, when I saw how much production Jordan Howard was getting compared to Tariq Cohen, it made me kind of realize, this is really not what I should have been doing.
Mm-hmm.
But that was last week's game. But Jordan Howard is good. He's a good running back, and he gets points for the Bears.
I agree. And it does kind of hurt me this week. Chris McCaffrey is on a bye. All the Panthers are on a bye, so I can't play him. Jordan Howard has originally been on my bench, but I'm going to have to play him this week. I think it's a good matchup, though, still against Tampa Bay. I don't think that's anything to be scared of whatsoever. So I feel pretty confident in that decision, playing him there.
Man, you were heavily on that Thursday game, Minnesota versus LA. It's going to be a big game for you.
I have
for him as well.
I have 4 players playing. No. 2 players.
Yeah.
Both of my wide receivers are playing in that game. I was looking at the Sunday night.
And what we should talk about real quick is the fact that Minnesota lost to the Bills. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, so that's just a fluke, like an anomaly. What I saw something, I was watching ESPN today, and it was like Kirk Cousins was talking about, he's like, we only ran 6 offensive plays, and we had 17 points against us. That's insane. So basically, 2 3-and-outs or something like that. I mean, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you come back from a deficit like that? Now, they were at home. Like, they should be a good enough team that they should be able to come back from a 17-point deficit that early. But for whatever reason, they just couldn't do it. I think they were trying to fight from behind. They got desperate, and then they stopped playing their offense.
What's unbelievable is Minnesota is arguably one of the best defenses. Like they were at the beginning of the year, they were arguably one of the best.
I think they
defenses.
still are.
And they gave up 17 points to the Bills, who has maybe gotten 10 points all season before that game.
Well, who got injured? Who was their injury? Was it a linebacker?
I'm not sure.
I can't remember that guy's name. Blake knows it, but they did lose somebody. But I don't think he makes a difference. Like makes that huge of a difference. But yeah, that was surprising.
Yeah, that's not good. But I think Minnesota's gonna have a bounce back week. I think it's gonna be actually a good game in Minnesota against Rams there. Now, those are 2 high-powered teams. One person's gonna come out on top. It's a Thursday night game, so it depends on how people prepare or what they do. But Minnesota could come out, pretty angry, and they might have already been preparing for the Rams, and then we're just overlooking the Bills. That's what a lot of people are saying. They weren't even worried about that game. They were just looking on at the Rams because they knew that'd be a tough matchup. So they could have already been preparing for them, and they could come out a lot stronger. We'll see.
Looking at this game between you guys, it's 2 people that would scare me. Is Odell? I think he's due to go off.
Yeah,
He's
I agree.
very due, and it's against New Orleans.
Especially with Evan Ingram going out and being out for like a
Yeah.
couple weeks, I think Odell's just going to have a lot of production.
Yeah, so that's a big. He's going to make you nervous probably. And
Hopefully some of that comes Saquon Barkley's way.
And then I think Russell might have a little better game.
I agree. Against Arizona, I don't think they're going to be down in that game. I think Seattle's defense is still not as bad as what everybody said they were going to be.
Yeah.
I think they're still a decent defense. Not the worst in the league, but they're not the Jaguars or something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, I guess go ahead and into picking who I honestly, no offense to you, Rose, but just based on matchups this week, I probably would give the edge to Alex. I just think you have some tough goes. I'm not saying you could definitely win easy, but your receivers, like you need them to, have an okay game. Nothing, 2 points, but they're you got some tough defenses on there. So I'd have to give the edge to Alex. My personal opinion.
I'll do the same. You have Saquon and Alex has Odell, and Giants have been very heavy on their receiving, so they haven't been giving the ball to Saquon, which is tough. So I would go with Alex.
All right. Fair.
Well, what are you gonna pick?
Well, I think it's pretty assumed you're going to pick yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So next game.
All right. Ooh. Next one is going to be Aaron Figley versus Blake Baldwin. This is going to be a good one. So scroll down a little bit more, Cody.
Yeah, sorry.
And for Aaron's team, quarterback Ben Roethlisberger, running backs are Marshawn Lynch and Lamar Miller, wide receivers Adam Thielen and Michael Thomas, tight end Eric Ebron, flex is Leonard Fournette, kicker is Will Lutz, and the defense is the Jaguars. For Blake, quarterback Tom Brady, running backs are Dalvin Cook and Todd Gurley, wide receivers are Jarvis Landry and Devontae Adams, tight end Tyler Eifert, flex is Keelan Cole, kicker is Gostkowski, and the defense is the Bears. And Figley is favored by 4 points in this game. The thing is, Figley has the edge at wide receiver. Blake has the edge at running backs.
Yeah. Get Dalvin back this week as well, doesn't he?
When I don't know why Figley has Leonard Fournette in his flex, but he's probably still going to be starting Marshawn Lynch and Lamar Miller. I think it's going to be pretty close.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Big Ben has been lighting the world on fire, though. He's been really, really good. So, Tom Brady is still Tom Brady, but I think they kind of cancel each other out, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
And both of those defenses have good matchups. They're both at home. Man. And even the tight ends, Eifert, I would take Eifert over Ebron, but Ebron can get a touchdown. So could Eifert, though.
I think the X factors.
Man, this is good. This is a close game.
The X factors for both of them is Thielen for Figley, and then Jarvis Landry for Blake. Because I think Jarvis, he's good, but for him to do really well, I think you can still call it a little bit of a bonus if he scores 15 points.
Yeah.
I just think it's a little bit of a bonus. I mean, he's still with the Browns. Baker makes him look better, but he needs to have a decent game. I think Devontae Adams is going to have a good game against Buffalo.
I agree.
And Thielen, he plays LA.
It's tough.
So it's tough. Now that's the Rams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a tough go around.
Yeah.
But I think those two will be the X factors. If I was Blake, I would try to get someone else besides Tyler Eifert.
But in the Dynasty, there's a lot of tight ends that are.
No, you're not.
He
wrong.
really doesn't have.
You're not wrong.
He could have had Delaney Walker or Greg Olsen or something. He just has to play Eifert now. Go to his bench, see if he has any tight ends.
He's got Hunter in.
Yeah.
Hooper,
but you got to start. I would start Eifert over Hooper for sure.
Yeah.
And Doug Baldwin doesn't help him.
Thing is about Cincinnati is the one thing I noticed from the other day is they're using their other tight ends a lot more as well. So
they're keeping Eifert healthy and trying to not let him get hurt or limiting his snaps. So there's a lot of potential with Eifert, but I think they know that they just need to limit him and only use him when they need him.
Yeah.
So that just brings down his upside so much. But he did well last week. He got 7 points, which is a no touchdown. So he did pretty well. If I had to pick,
that's tough because matchups there.
If Dalvin Cook plays, but Blake still if Dalvin Cook doesn't play, he still has Latavius Murray, which is a good handcuff for him. He should probably keep him. But if Dalvin Cook plays, I think I'll take Blake.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would give the edge to Blake this week. I think overall his team looks a little stronger.
I like his running backs better. You just can't bet against Gurley, man. The guy gets 20 points every game. He is the best fantasy player.
Luckily for Figley, maybe he'll have a little bit of a down game. A down game could mean like 15 points for him.
Yeah.
But since he's playing Minnesota, but I think that's
Right.
what you got to hope for. And then I'd be rooting against Jarvis. I think, yeah. So I'd give the edge to Blake, though. I think I would give the edge to Blake.
Okay.
So,
All right, moving on. Next is going to be Justin Bueno versus Tanner Higgins. Justin is starting as quarterback Case Keenum. Running backs are Giovanni Bernard, Carlos Hyde. Wide receivers are Larry Fitzgerald and Antonio Brown. Tight end is Ben Watson. Flex is Bilal Powell. Kicker is Justin Tucker. And defense is the Broncos. Tanner is starting Kirk Cousins as quarterback. Running backs are Ezekiel Elliott and Matt Breida. Wide receivers are A.J. Green and Allen Robinson. Tight end is O.J. Howard. Flex is Calvin Ridley. Kicker is Chris Boswell. And defense is the Vikings.
Did anything come out of the Burrito injury?
they're still evaluating him.
Yeah.
I think they don't know.
Okay.
I think he's okay, though.
Yeah, but
Because he
I
came
don't know
back in
if
the
he's
game.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna play this week though.
Really?
I don't know. Just click on him real quick.
I think he's going to play. I haven't really heard anything that he says he's not going to play.
It says here that he's diagnosed with a hyperextended knee. So he questionable.
Yeah.
So he may or
He'll
may not
probably be okay. I hope he's okay.
If he came back in the game, I think he will play. I think he's probably just really sore. They might limit him a little bit. I think he'll play. If I had to take my guess, I've been wrong before.
A running back with a sore knee, though, that's kind of scary. Even if they do play him.
Yeah. It doesn't help because they might be more willing to play Alfred Morris.
Right.
But do you think Calvin Ridley's going to do what he did again? We kind of talked about this.
No.
Are you comfortable flexing him out if you
We'll
need
just
to?
look at my options.
Alright.
You'll understand why. Or
Oh, sorry. Maybe I should pay attention.
it's not a whole lot going on.
Once Julian Edelman comes back, you'll be better. Demarius Thomas isn't bad. Mark Ingram will make your team stronger. Peyton Barber
He's not been producing
he's
anything.
just-
I've started him the last couple weeks, and
Man,
they don't use him. They don't. It's all about Fitzpatrick throwing the ball. So
you're right.
I don't think I have really any better options, to be honest with you.
Danny
So-
Amendola has not done as well as I think what people hoped.
No, and that's not like surprising to me, to be honest with you. It's really not. They have other receivers that they rely on heavily. I mean,
Ken
Parker and
Stills,
Stills. So I'm not surprised. They're just better than him. So
Now, luckily though, Bueno has Giovanni Bernard and Joe Mixon, which is actually a really nice handcuff for him. So either way, whoever starts, he has that running back.
Right.
I was going to say, like, if Gio's not going to be the starter this week, that might hurt his team. But if he has Mixon, and honestly, would probably make his team better if Mixon plays. Hyde, I think, is going to take a step up with Baker coming in at quarterback. I think that's going to open up the field. And Hyde has shown last year that he can catch the ball, even though he's never been known as a pass catcher. He can still do it, so that raises his floor a little bit. Fitzgerald, we'll see what he does with Josh Rosen.
Now on
I'm not
Fitzgerald, Justin has Michael Crabtree on his bench. Would you rather play Michael Crabtree or
I think I'll
Fitzgerald?
take the shot on Fitzgerald this week just to see what he does with Rosen. That's a different quarterback, a different look. That team doesn't have a lot of game film on him.
Okay.
Fitzgerald has the talent to do it, but Crabtree's not a bad play. Don't get me wrong. There are worse options out there than Michael Crabtree.
Right.
You can hope for a touchdown. That's what he looks for him. Antonio Brown's a plug and play. We don't even really need to talk about him.
Yeah.
Ben Watson has gotten like 15 targets over the last 3 weeks, so he's done fairly well. I don't think he's the world beater, but you could do worse.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a strong option. I like O.J. Howard better. I think Tanner wins that because as long as Ryan Fitzpatrick's quarterback, they're going to throw to O.J. Howard.
yeah, the only worry is we're playing Chicago.
This is a tough team
And-
at Chicago.
I mean, Pittsburgh's defense kind of gave him some fits, and Pittsburgh's defense isn't very good. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that O.J. Howard, he likes hitting O.J. Howard. So, he is ranked the second tight end right now. He's been kind of consistent. So, that's the only reason why I'm starting him. And I don't have any other options. I mean, I have Jordan Reed, who's on a bye, and Olsen, who's on a bye and who's hurt. So, that's my best option. I think this game for me will heavily depend on if AJ Green plays.
Yep.
If he doesn't, it's going to be hard.
Yeah,
For
really hard.
sure. I mean, I'd have to start Demaryius Thomas. Basically, that's it. That's my only option.
Yeah.
Or Pettis, and he's taking a step down because Garoppolo's not there.
Yes.
Um,
Do you think Pettis is droppable for other options at this point since Garoppolo's out?
yeah, he is. No, he definitely is. He probably has no value really now. If I were an unbiased, you know, obviously biased towards your team, but if a truthfully unbiased, I actually would give myself a little bit of an edge.
I think
A
you
little
have the tougher matchups.
Yeah.
For sure. Like Kirk Cousins and Burrito, I think is Chargers. I mean, they're good.
Yeah.
And some of your matchups. I mean, you do have the Vikings defense, but against the Rams, so you have a lot of the tougher matchups. And Justin has like the step below your team, in my opinion. So it's like, are your matchups gonna defeat his,
I'm looking.
his level of team, or is his level of team gonna defeat your matchups?
I'm really hoping, and I think this will make a huge difference for me, is Zeke finally having a very good game this week because
Against
he's
the
been.
Lions,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
They're not giving him the ball enough. It is ridiculous. I think
No.
Stephen A. said the other day that they only gave it to him like less than 15 times.
What is it with
What the
people
heck,
not giving the
man?
ball to Zeke? Like this happened at Ohio State too. Like why do people just not want to give him the ball?
Dallas is they're pissing me off because they don't have a passing game.
No,
And
they
they're
do
trying
not
to
have a
force
receiving
it.
core whatsoever.
They're trying
And-
to force it, and you need to give the ball to the best player on the team. It's not just because I have him. I think everyone pretty much agrees with that. Like, why in the hell are you not giving him the ball? So he's been kind of a little bit of a disappointment for me, but he's still putting up yards. He just hasn't really got any touchdowns. So I think he'll be a big difference for me this week. I hope he goes off. I think he's due. I think it's time. I think he's gonna make a big difference for me this week.
One thing is, I love the Vikings defense as much as I do, but playing them against the Rams is probably the worst matchup you could
And
possibly
I'm
have.
actually considering
Like-
switching them out. I'm not lying.
For the Jets
like-
against Jacksonville? At Jacksonville?
Well, that's the thing is. I mean, it's a tough call. I mean, if there's someone on the bench, but I mean, LA's offense is way better than Jacksonville's offense.
Yes.
So I did that. I tried this the other week where I switched them out, and it seemed to work.
Yep.
You never know. I mean,
Now, to be fair though, Broncos play Kansas City. And that ain't a good matchup either
Yeah, that's
for
not.
him.
no, it's not.
Because Kansas City, if they just keep 80% of that production up, they're going to put up a lot of points. He still has the Cardinals defense against Seattle. I don't even think that's good of a matchup either.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, so maybe you can call that even almost.
Yeah, I'd say your defenses cancel each other out. Kickers doesn't matter.
He's got Tucker and I got Boswell.
Tucker's good, but kickers are so week to week. Like it's nice to have Tucker is probably the best kicker, but in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't make that big of a difference.
Yeah. I don't know. It'd be a good game.
It's pretty close. I might have to give the edge to you just because I think you have the better players. But I could see a world where Bueno wins this game.
Absolutely.
Just because if your players just don't produce like they should because they have tough matchups.
And they haven't been producing like they should either, so I wouldn't be surprised if I lose.
I'm gonna have to choose you on your players, but with your matchups, I could definitely see you, getting really close to Bueno. Like this being a really close game.
Yeah. All right.
Next game.
Moving on.
Okay, come on now.
The-
There we go.
Chase versus Dylan, and Chase's team is.
He's 3-0, isn't he? In this league as well.
Yep.
Is he?
Dylan
Chase
is
fine.
3-0.
I can understand how he's 3-0 in the other league. I don't understand how he's 3-0 with this team.
We will run.
I mean, it's not. He's got some good players, but
We'll run through his starters. So, Cody, you scroll up just a tad. For Chase's team, quarterbacks Phillip Rivers, running backs are TJ Yeldon and Kenyon Drake. Wide receivers are Devin Funchess, who is on a bye this week. Tyreek Hill, tight end Kyle Rudolph, flex is Juju Smith-Schuster, which I'll probably replace Devin Funchess with. Kicker is Butker, and the defense is the Rams. For Dylan's team, quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick. Running backs are Kareem Hunt and James White. Wide receivers are DeAndre Hopkins and Mike Evans. Tight end is Jared Cook. Flex is Deshaun Jackson. Kicker Rudy Gold. And defense is the Panthers, who are on a bye.
Dylan needs to get rid of that. I mean, it worked for him. It's been kind of working for him, but he's got Fitzpatrick, Mike Evans, and Deshaun Jackson starting.
That's a pretty I mean, it has worked so well, but I don't think Tampa Bay can keep up the pace.
You're literally living or dying by Tampa Bay.
Because they have a bad game, he's totally screwed. He's going to score 50 points.
Like last night, just for instance, I was playing him. Fitzpatrick was doing awful in the first half. You know what I mean? He threw 3 picks, 2 picks, whatever it was. I was pushing on Dylan a lot. And all of a sudden, the second half happened. Fitzpatrick ended up doing really well, hit Mike Evans for a lot, and he just took off. He went from being projected like 70 to being projected like 105.
Wow.
Just in a matter of like
Did he beat you?
Quarter. Oh, yeah, he smoked me.
Really?
Like 160.
Oh, wow. I didn't even look.
Yeah.
Well, Jared Cook has done better than what I thought he would do. I thought he was a 1 week wonder and like kind of a bust, but I mean, in this landscape of like not great tight ends with so many of them getting hurt, and now with Evan Ingram going down, I think there's worse options out there than Jared Cook to play.
I'm starting him. I mean, he's still a number 4 tight end. He should have got a touchdown on Sunday. They called it back. They were right on the goal line. I think he scored a touchdown. So he gets targeted. They throw to him and they like him. So I don't think he's a bad option.
I agree. I think Dylan needs to get a defense, but I like his team overall. I love his wide receivers, DeAndre Hopkins and Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Even though they're both on the road, Mike Evans has a tougher matchup, but Indianapolis is nothing to be scared of.
It's almost my team last year. I literally had Hunt, Hopkins, and Evans.
Kareem Hunt will get his. I mean, Denver's not a great matchup, but I think he'll be just fine with that explosive offense. Fitzpatrick at Chicago, I do not know if he's going to do it this week. That Chicago team is freaking good. Mm-hmm. That defense is awesome. With that pass rush with Khalil Mack,
yeah, that was their downfall.
It'll get about 3 roughing the passer penalties.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick, the offensive line for Tampa Bay could not hold or anything. So with Chicago coming in, like Fitzpatrick is going to be laying on the ground. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. That whole game, Fitzpatrick is going to be laying on the ground.
I hate to say this, but I think this could be the game where Fitzpatrick just does really, really bad, and they just bring in Jameis Winston.
Really?
Oh, I mean, I could definitely, I can definitely see a world where that happens.
But
or gets hurt or something.
They have to realize, this is a Chicago Bears defense, and this is not the fault.
It's just their D line, though.
Yeah.
It's really lame.
I don't know. They've gotten sacks and interceptions.
It is not the fault of Fitzpatrick at that point. If he keeps getting sacked, it is not the fault of Fitzpatrick. It is the fault of that offensive line.
But he throws about
they need to focus
3 or 4 picks.
That is true, yeah. But
it's decision making.
He starts to force the ball.
And he is slow to throw the ball as well. So
yeah,
I don't know if Jameis Winston is any better at getting the ball out fast.
Does he have any other quarterbacks on his team?
Let's look.
I don't, because there's got to be better options out there.
Carlos Wentz.
Carson. Oh, jeez. Yes, start Carson Wentz
especially over at Tennessee.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, I'm sure he'll probably do that. Well, I don't know, maybe. But
he's gonna listen to this and bitch.
He should definitely do that, though. The upside of Carson Wentz is way better than what Fitzpatrick is against the Bears.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just a better matchup at Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee's front hasn't been bad, but it's not as deadly as Khalil Mack right in your face.
Yeah.
So,
so for this game, who you guys picking? I'm gonna pick Dylan on this one. If he replaces Fitzpatrick and he finds a better defense. I mean, Phillip Rivers and some of these players, like, really, I don't know why you're starting. Like, you can find better players.
Does he have So Josh Gordon could be. He's got Bell, so he's sitting on him, so that kind of hurts his team a lot. But T.J. Yeldon, if Leonard Fournette's back, T.J. Yeldon has no value at all. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, so that's the only reason he's playing him right now. And if he
Because
goes,
he has literally nothing else. does he?
no, he would have to start like Gillisley would probably be his best option at running back. That sucks.
Yeah, I think I'll give the edge to Dylan this week.
If Dylan should take out Deshaun Jackson and put in Lockett though, because Lockett's been tearing it up. He's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
And that'd just be a safer option, I think. Than I think Deshaun Jackson's kind of boom or bust. He'll get a long touchdown or he's going to put up team points.
But
I'll take Dylan.
yeah. So, Chase has been getting really lucky with those. Like with Kyle Rudolph Sunday, he was the only person I'm pretty sure on Minnesota who got a touchdown, and he hasn't.
He actually had a productive fantasy day.
It's shocking because they couldn't do. They had 6 minutes? He said on offense.
6 plays before they scored 17 points, but
yeah,
Rudolph actually did fairly well, but both pass catchers, the running back, Latavius Murray didn't do anything.
Yep, so
I mean, Kirk.
I think this is the week that Chase loses it.
I just don't see a world where he wins it. Like, I mean, I hate to say it. Like, yeah, he started out 3-0, so he can afford a loss a little bit. I mean, never want to lose, but even the Rams against Minnesota is not a good matchup. I think that's kind of what's helped carry his team a little bit too.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, let's go.
They're like tied in their projection, and Dylan doesn't have a defense. Well, I guess to be fair, Funchess isn't there, so kind of gets out. But all right, moving on to the Standard League. So the 10-team Standard League. We're gonna go through this. Cody is taking on who's the juice?
Zach
is
Peck.
taking on Zach Peck, and lineup is quarterback Tom Brady, running back is Kareem Hunt, running back is Sony Michel, wide receivers are Odell Beckham and Stephon Diggs, tight end is Zach Ertz, flex is Brandon Cooks, Will Lutz is the kicker, and the defense is the Cardinals. And then Peck has Patrick Mahomes as quarterback, running backs are James White and Todd Gurley, wide receivers are Devontae Adams and Juju Smith-Schuster, tight end is Jordan Reed, who is on a bye this week, flex is Derrick Henry, kicker is Matt Bryant, and defense is the Eagles.
Go down.
Yeah.
I think it's.
Yep.
Peck has, Devonta Freeman, which it looks like he's not going to play. Is that?
Probably not. I wouldn't be surprised if he played this week.
That makes a big difference on his team.
It does. Yeah. And he still has Wentz, and he has Aguilar. He doesn't have a backup tight end, though, does he? I don't think so. No. So he'll probably be picking up a tight end. Depends on who's on the waivers, but I mean, it's not going to be anybody that's crazy good. There's nobody really out there that's awesome. Maybe an O.J. Howard. I mean, somebody like that might be a streamable option if he's still available. Because then otherwise you're going to plug and play Jordan Reed. You got to play him when he's on the field. But just bye weeks are starting to come around. I mean, you got to prepare for them. They suck. I mean, it's not fun because it hurts your team, but it really shows. Well, I kind of like bye weeks. It makes people move stuff around, makes people drop players that they normally wouldn't have dropped. Maybe that can help your team out a little bit, but it also shows whose team's bench. You have all these people on your bench that you never plan on playing unless somebody goes down.
Right.
But it's like when these bye weeks happen, you are forced to play whoever the best option is.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to sit there, and it just shows whose teams are deeper and how you can handle adversity if somebody goes down and if you can still win or not. So, which is nice. Sometimes you can get a lucky break, like if Gurley was on a bye, like that'd be a really good for Cody. But
yeah. I mean, when you look at this game, I have the worst I have far worse running backs, but I have a much better receiving.
I wouldn't say far worse. So each of you are starting a New England running back, which is interesting. Sony Michel's better than James White. Sony Michel has been ramping up his production for the last week or two. So James White still has his pass catching ability, but I'd rather have Sony Michel over James White. I'd rather have Gurley over Kareem Hunt, but Kareem Hunt can get his. Like, Gurley is playing a tough Minnesota defense. But Gurley is Todd Gurley.
And you can absolutely argue my wide receivers are much better than his. Devontae Adams and Juju Smith versus Odell and Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
I've got that.
Face value,
Yeah. Juju has been doing pretty well. Devontae Adams has been doing pretty well, but Odell's better. I think he's going to do a lot better. Diggs, I think, is better than Juju. But I mean, you have by far the edge at tight end with Zach Ertz over whoever he's going to pick up on the way.
Especially with Carson back.
I think you even have the edge of flex with Brandon Cooks over Derrick Henry.
Mm.
I mean, I would almost trust Brandon Cooks over Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry hasn't done anything, especially against a tough Philadelphia defense this week. That sucks too. I'd be surprised if he does anything. He might get a lucky touchdown. That'd be it. But Brandon Cooks has been getting thrown to all the time. I don't think he has a touchdown yet, so he's due. So he's been doing pretty well. So
I'm gonna pick me.
yeah, I'll pick you as well. This game.
10.
I'm gonna have to pick Cody as well. Just based upon, I don't know. Your
Is Beck
team
3-0?
should. No, he's 2-1.
No.
I feel like your team should do better, but like I said, at face value, yeah, you're doing better. But if you look at production, I actually think his team has been smoking yours in production.
I mean,
I'm not gonna lie.
He's got Mahomes.
So
Fucking smoking.
if
And
they
Todd
all
Gurley has
if
been
they
smoking
all remain as hot as they have been, I think it would be a really tight game. But I'd still give the edge to you. But I don't think it's an easy win.
it. Yeah.
I mean, Peck has scored the most amount of points in our league so far by a lot. Because it tightened up this week a little bit, but he still is leading.
Patrick
scorer.
Mahomes has to come down at some point, though. I mean, he can't keep.
This should
up.
be his game to have an average game against him.
I agree. He's gonna play some tough defenses.
Yeah.
So
I just don't see a world where he just keeps that production up. I think they always start out really hot, but he's going to be good. He is a season-long quarterback that you can plug and play every single week, but it's just not. I just temper expectations. Like, this is his first year starting out. Like, he's going to make some mistakes, but you can still play.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm saying he's a bad player. It's just don't expect him to keep on doing exactly what he's done these 3 weeks.
the one player I'd worry about if I were you that's playing against you is Devontae Adams, because I feel like he will have a really good game this week. And
Buffalo.
Rodgers has been good, but not as good as he has been, and Rodgers is also due, and I think because of that, I think that Devontae Adams might have a really big week this week. He has a lot of potential to have a good week this.
I think Odell against New Orleans is a shootout though too.
Right, that's true. Yeah, that's who. I mean, yeah, just like in the league before, the other league, I said about Odell. I think that'd be who had to be worried.
Yeah, I only worry. My only worry is Rodgers' knee. Keeping up with because he's gonna have to target Devontae Adams, but with his bum knee, I mean that sucks for Green Bay.
And that Buffalo defense isn't terrible, so they could put up some pressure on Rodgers, but I think he's just Aaron Rodgers.
Coming off a hot game like last week, they're gonna
they're gonna have a lot of momentum going but they got to go into Lambeau and play this game, so
true.
It's not a tough place.
Yeah, at least it's not a Lambeau game, like cold and shit.
Yeah, I agree. All right, next up is Alex versus me. So Alex's team is Ryan Fitzpatrick, Tevin Coleman, James Conner. Wide receivers are Julio Jones, Antonio Brown. Tight end is Eric Ebron. Flex is Lamar Miller. Kicker is Jake Elliott. And the defense is the Jags. On my team, I have Russell Wilson, my quarterback. Running backs are David Johnson, Jordan Howard. Wide receiver, Tyler Lockett, Michael Thomas. Tight end, Jimmy Graham. Flex is Giovanni Bernard. And the kicker is Bailey. And the defense are the Bears.
If you look at Alex's team, he looks like he has a really good team. If you were to ask me at the beginning of the year, instead of ignore James Conner, but he has Fitzpatrick and Tevin Coleman, which all right, but Julio and Antonio, I would have told you, man, that's going to get you a lot of points.
Yeah, they're not even. Neither one of those guys are in the top 10 right now.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm saying at the beginning of the year, they were top 10 picks, both of them, right?
But
In the
draft.
So,
they are both top 10 receivers, even though their stats might not.
Well, I'm not
show
saying
right now.
receivers. I'm just saying top 10 draft picks, right?
Yeah, they're
Probably.
in the top
Yeah.
10. I mean, Antonio did for sure.
Yeah, Antonio definitely. I'm not
6.
sure about Julio. He would have been number 2.
I mean, he was an early second round, if anything.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you would have asked me at the beginning of the year, Alex would have had probably the best team in the whole league from what I've seen so far. But
I agree, man. And I have, and James Conner has been doing some work. I mean, ever since Bell's been out, I mean, he hasn't had the production or the efficiency that Le'Veon Bell has done, but he's not Le'Veon Bell, but he's still getting the kind of volume that Le'Veon Bell was getting. So he's getting the opportunity, the pass catching, the rushing ability. He is a good player. That's a good high-powered Steelers offense. They got to go up against Baltimore, which isn't the best matchup, but they're at home, and Pittsburgh always plays just way better at home.
Which is why I think you're going to win. James Conner's against Baltimore.
Yeah.
He's finally going to have a bad game, I think. Fitzpatrick, I think, is going to finally have a bad game. And just looking at your team, it's better. I think Russell against Arizona he's going to score a lot. I think David is going to get on a roll finally. Tampa Bay's defense isn't that great against the run. Doesn't seem like they're like Lockett's the main guy right now. Michael Thomas is the best receiver in football right now. I just think all around you have I would say, even though projections say whatever, but I think you have the better shot this week to win that game for sure.
And then, so Fitzpatrick has to go up against my Bears defense, which is interesting. So every time he scores, it's going to bring my defense down. But every time if they get a pick or something, it's going to bring him down, bring me up. So it's kind of an interesting combo we have going right now.
I'm looking at your guys' tight ends, and I find that very interesting. You have Ebron and Graham. I think I would pick Graham over
this week.
Ebron this week, but still a very interesting. Like, I almost find that kind of balance more than I do.
So I think Jimmy Graham gets a touchdown this week. He hasn't got a touchdown yet. I think he's due. I think he gets a touchdown this week.
I really like Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, I think he starts to turn.
He is due.
Yeah, and Gio Bernard, as long as Mixon's out, that helps. If I can't play Gio Bernard, I'll have to play Alex Collins or maybe Kerryon Johnson, who's starting to emerge on my bench, which helps my team.
Johnson.
So, like, I'm playing Gio Bernard until Mixon comes back, and then I'm probably going to drop him because he just doesn't have as much value anymore. But hopefully that kind of transition time can happen where Kerryon kind of takes over, and he already started to last week because he rushed for over 100 yards. The Lions haven't had that forever. So I can kind of plug him into my flex.
I like him a lot.
Which is nice. Yeah, I'm never going to let
He's
him go.
future, man. He's good.
He's very good. Yeah. And then once Lockett kind of comes out, I have Alshon Jeffrey and Josh Gordon. So if one of them breaks out, I mean, Lockett's value is not going to be there forever once Baldwin comes back, but hopefully it's kind of that same timing thing that right when he comes out, I can plug one of them in. We'll see. I don't know if Alshon Jeffrey will play this week, though.
Yeah. You know,
If
one
he did,
thing.
I'd probably play.
One thing about Josh Gordon is everybody's saying that Tom Brady finally has like a
Dude, people are getting
wide
too hyped
receiver.
about
Yeah,
it.
I agree. They're getting too hyped about Josh Gordon on the Patriots, but you know, Julian Edelman, he's not a Josh Gordon, but I mean he's up there, and
I don't know if Edelman's that good. That's my hot take,
Well-
but I don't know if he's that good.
I think you know what, you're right. In the past, he's been pretty good, but he's starting to come down.
He's old. He's like 34. He's not as fast as he
34
was.
years old.
Yeah. He's pretty old. He was a quarterback in college, so he wasn't a career wide receiver. But I think with Josh Gordon there, I think once Brady gets a connection with him and just sees what he can do, I think for Brady's sake, he's going to throw to Gronk and he's going to throw to Josh Gordon. And if Josh Gordon can do anything like what he was doing, I think he's going to be a stud. But we'll see. And that defense for the Patriots is not good, so I think there's going to be a lot of negative game scripts they're going to have to throw. They're going to trust Brady's arm. And hopefully it works out, but we'll see.
Yeah.
That's true. I didn't think about it that way, but yeah.
No, I mean, find out.
All right. Tanner, who you gonna pick?
I had Rose.
Yeah, Rose. I'm gonna pick Alex. I'm gonna pick Alex over this.
Yeah.
I really like his team. Julio and Antonio need to have a
Running backs over receivers, man.
You're right. But James Conner and Tevin Coleman aren't that bad. So.
No, you're right. They're both going to get production.
Yep.
They're both going to get theirs.
All right.
All right. Moving on. Could go up. So it is Aaron against Tanner. Aaron has quarterback is Kirk Cousins, running back is Leonard Fournette and Jamal Williams, wide receivers DeAndre Hopkins, Robert Woods, tight end is Travis Kelce, flex is Jay Ajayi, kicker is Butker, and the defense is the Chiefs. Tanner has quarterback Aaron Rodgers, running back are Matt Breida and Marshawn Lynch, wide receivers are Mike Evans and AJ Green, tight end Jared Cook, flex is Michael Crabtree, kicker is Crosby, and the defense is the Vikings. You the Vikings in both leagues?
Yeah.
Wow, nice. So, here's the thing about Alex's team. Jamal Williams has done really well.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to do that well going forward. Aaron Jones is now off his suspension, and Aaron Jones is definitely the most talented back in that backfield. And he's eventually going to take over, and Jamal Williams has sucked. His yards per carry are terrible. He's a better pass blocker than Aaron Jones, but he's not the running back Aaron Jones is. Aaron Jones is by far the more talented running back. And Ty Montgomery's just not, he's not really a factor. Like, he plays a little bit, but he's more of just a pass catcher, third down back. But I say right now, I don't think Jamal Williams is probably worth still having on your team, but I think his projection doesn't show it, but I think there's more risk involved with Jamal Williams than what is led out to believe. If you want my take on that.
Go down. I'll show you my situation. So McCaffrey's on the bye. Hurts. I have Le'Veon Bell. So,
man, when Bell comes back, you're really pretty set at running back. To be completely honest.
Yeah. No, that's the one thing about my team. So, yeah.
Not playing Njoku this week?
No.
No.
I haven't seen enough yet.
You're right. I haven't seen enough Baker yet.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think, say the X factor for me, depending on how well I'll do, is Crabtree. And I don't know. I mean, it's Baltimore against Pittsburgh, so it's always a good game. Pittsburgh's defense isn't very good. Their secondary's not very good. So maybe they'll hook up a couple times. So I'm hoping that would be my X factor. AJ Green, he does potential not to play. If he doesn't play, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be in a pickle. I don't think I'd give myself a chance.
You'd have to start like Keelan Cole, or maybe Michael Crabtree there.
Yeah, it's a good thing I have Mike Evans there.
Yeah.
Now I didn't before, so I still have like a number one. You know what I mean?
Would you still be okay? Say AJ Green doesn't play. Would you put in Marquise Goodwin or Keelan Cole?
Keelan Cole, because I mean,
yeah.
What's his face?
Goodwin.
Goodwin doesn't have someone to throw to him now. So
yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I can't even tell you who's gonna win this game. I think if AJ Green plays, I think I would give myself a slight edge. If he doesn't play, I think that Figley's gonna win. That's my personal opinion. It'll be tough.
I'm not a big fan of the Chiefs' defense that he's playing. Against Denver, at Denver, I think that's a tough place to play. I don't think Chiefs' defense is any kind of world beater. I mean, your defense has just a terrible matchup, though. So it kind of cancels out. Scroll up, Cody. I think, man, even the projections are so close. They're only 1 point difference, so that's just a toss-up.
Yeah,
I think
it's close.
I might have to take Figley in this one. I hate to say it, but if Robert Woods does something, Kelsey's gonna get his. Jay Ajayi's coming back. Jamal Williams might still. I could be wrong. Jamal Williams still could do his. Leonard Fournette's a stud. Kirk Cousins probably will get his.
I think Robert Woods would be an X factor for him.
Yeah.
If Robert Woods goes off for like 15 to 20, I'd say my chances of winning are very low.
Now, if you had McCaffrey in this lineup, I'd probably pick you. But since you don't, like I get Matt Breida is good. Marshawn Lynch gets his. I just don't trust him.
No, neither do I.
Neither do I. If I was Figley though, what I would do is I'd put Jay Ajayi over Jamal Williams.
And then put in what?
I'd put Kenny Galladay or Philip Lindsay in your flex. Or Cooper, if you trust him.
Yeah, he's got options.
Yeah, that's what I would do, but if he likes Jamal Williams, and that's his thing.
Yeah, but I want to give Tanda the benefit of the doubt. I think he's gonna pull this one off.
Yeah, I mean it's a toss-up game at this. Rodgers could go off for 30 points. I mean, then.
So I want to ask you guys, as just a question. I have Aaron Rodgers and Matt Ryan as my quarterbacks, and if I would have started Matt Ryan the last 3 weeks, I've been scoring way more points. Do you think, I have a feeling that this year in our league, no one cares about getting a great quarterback. I offered you guys, I said, would anybody be interested in Aaron Rodgers, and no one responded.
Well, because of his injury at the time.
You just got. It's
That
hard.
was the point.
It's hard to go get Rodgers because you just know you're gonna have to pay up for him.
Yeah, that's
Sucks.
what I'm
And you're
trying
gonna
to
want a
say.
running back
Is
or something.
anybody really, is anyone really going to value getting Rodgers that much? Is getting a great quarterback like that really worth it?
I think it's so early in the season. Not a ton of quarterbacks have went down or done for the season. I mean, a couple have. But you could be soliciting trade offers later on in the season. I think it might be a little early because people still have their quarterback they drafted. People still have a Kirk Cousins. They still have a Russell Wilson. They still have a Big Ben. Or if they didn't have that, they have a Patrick Mahomes like they picked up on the waiver wire the first week. There's options out there, and there's still waiver wire options too. Instead of going and trading for somebody, you can just go pick somebody up.
Yeah.
There's still decent ones out there. So it's hard. I mean, yeah, Rodgers is a next level player, but when you can kind of maybe stream the matchups and not hurt your team overall for having to pay the price for him, sometimes it's tough to make the case. But if you stream both of those quarterbacks, though, you just play the good matchup, and you're going to have a productive quarterback every single week.
Yeah. It's so
Matt
hard
Ryan,
because
you have like
how do I
two
sit Rodgers? How do I sit him?
He has just not looked as
He
good.
hasn't, but just like you can't.
He's still
you have
doing.
to play
He's still
him.
doing well though.
It's
Like,
like, I have to play him.
He's not playing terrible. He's not Mr. Trubisky. Like he's not doing just so bad that the Green Bay can't move the ball. Like they're winning some games. I mean, I think they got beat by the Chiefs last week, but they were at the Chiefs.
Alright.
Sorry, no, they were at the Redskins.
Alrighty, let's look at the next
All right. Next up is gonna be Justin Bueno versus Blake Baldwin. Bueno's team is quarterback Matthew Stafford, running backs Deion Lewis and Saquon Barkley, wide receiver Demaryius Thomas and Keenan Allen, tight end Rob Gronkowski. Flex is Isaiah Crowell, Justin Tucker is his kicker, and the Broncos defense is his D. Blake Baldwin has the quarterback Drew Brees, running backs Latavius Murray and Melvin Gordon, wide receiver is Golden Tate and Devin Funchess. Funchess is on a bye. Tight end Kyle Rudolph. Flex is Royce Freeman. Kicker is DeAndre Hopkins, who is on a bye, and the Ravens defense. He's got two people on a bye, and that really hurts. Who are his wide receivers that he'd have to put in?
He's got a bunch of hurt people, man.
He's got Mixon who's hurt. Doug Baldwin. When Doug
He's
Baldwin
got
comes
actually
back,
have a really good team.
he is man. Dalvin
Yes.
Cook and Mixon, but
Yes.
his team is just hurt right now.
When the
He's
teams
gonna
are
have to-
healthy, Blake face value talent wise, Blake has the best team.
What's Blake gonna do? He's not gonna drop Baldwin, Mixon, or Cook. He needs a wide receiver and he needs a kicker. What is he gonna do? Who's he gonna? He's probably gonna drop Wall Powell. I would definitely drop him. Is he gonna drop Kittle though? Like
Because
he
how
doesn't-
valuable's Kittle now?
he doesn't have another wide receiver. Is he not gonna play a wide receiver? He's gonna play a wide receiver.
So what's the big deal in dropping Kittle? I think you can drop Kittle easy.
Well, I think you can drop Kittle too, since Garoppolo's hurt. I think he's still gonna be viable.
Hold on a minute. Since we're sitting here noticing this, what's he need to fill? A kicker and a receiver.
Kicker and a wide receiver. He doesn't have a wide receiver on his bench.
If one of you guys got a better waiver, go pick up the next best wide receiver.
No, you're totally right.
Just do it. I want to do it.
Yeah, I think there's still a good amount of wide receivers out that he can stream somebody, but who the hell is he gonna drop? Like I think he's definitely in this predicament right now. He's got to drop Powell and Kittle. Are you just gonna not play a kicker?
Well, I mean, you could drop his kicker.
You're right. That's probably
drop a kicker and pick up a kicker.
He's gonna have
That's
to do
not
that.
bad.
Yeah, he's still,
I was wondering why you're saying 2 people.
I couldn't believe
drop his kicker.
I couldn't believe I didn't think. But that he still has to drop somebody though for wide. He doesn't have
He's gonna drop.
What are you
Kittle.
gonna? You're not gonna play wide receiver? I think he's gonna drop Paul Powell.
I think he drops Kittle.
Really?
I do.
Yeah, because it's the same. I mean, he doesn't have any value now. I'd be like,
You're right.
I mean, he's
not
yeah.
as bad as we thought he was.
He's got Kyle Rudolph, dude. He's fine.
I mean,
tight end.
still go pick up a receiver.
He has to pick a wide receiver.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to see him who's going to drop. He definitely has waiver claims in right now.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Bueno's team.
All right. So one thing I want to point out is I'm pretty sure in the Dynasty, which is what we reviewed before this, he also has Justin Tucker and the Broncos defense.
He has Justin Tucker and Broncos defense.
That is his combo. He will take them in like the 8th or 9th round, both of them, and just be like, I'm locking him down because I trust him. He does it every single year we do a redraft.
It's funny.
His team's not bad though.
It's not, but I mean, Matt Stafford, you can
Hasn't
do
done
better.
terrible though.
You
Deion
can do
Lewis
better.
gets his. Barkley's a top for sure 10 running back. Keenan Allen's top 10 receiver. Demaryius Thomas isn't bad. Gronk is obviously the number 1 tight end. Crowell's done well. I don't think he's going to do well against Jacksonville though. It's a bad matchup.
Yeah.
But he's a lock for like a goal line carry or something. He's got a good amount of touchdowns.
You got the Patriots defense against Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, Miami's been looking good.
He still has Garoppolo on his bench, but he'll probably drop him. Allen Robinson, it's not bad. I'd probably flex out Allen Robinson over Isaiah Crowell this week against Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
If I could. Heck, maybe Blake will try and trade for Allen Robinson. I don't know. We'll see.
Wow. Yeah. Prater. I don't know why he's got a kicker on his bench, but
Go up.
I think it depends on what wide receiver.
I think I might have to give the edge to Bueno this week a little bit.
I think so.
oh wow! Look at the points.
Well,
He
that's
has
just
those,
two
yeah.
lines.
Okay.
But man, even Golden Tate though as a wide receiver, that's not like he's not bad, but he's not a world beater. I'd take Demaryius Thomas over Golden Tate. That's what
Yeah.
I do.
I wouldn't.
Me neither.
I probably would.
Do you guys know what Golden Tate's done this year though, or you just
Like,
you're just thinking it's Golden?
Whoa, man! I'm on your side here. I'm picking up Golden Tate.
Oh,
in
okay.
this
I
one.
think he's done well.
Yeah, I mean he's been
Better
kicking
than
ass.
Demaryius
So.
Thomas, I can promise you that.
Yeah, oh yeah. His performance so far is definitely beaten Demaryius, but Golden Tate against Dallas, that I find that really hot
At Dallas.
But Dallas, what is Dallas doing?
Their defense isn't bad.
I'm still taking.
Yeah,
I'm
still
taking Bueno,
Golden Tate.
Edge, and
Yeah.
Blake Allen.
Well, he's got the tight end matchup. I think he's got it better with Gronk, I think, against Miami. New England just knows how to beat their division rivals. I mean, Miami's one of them. I think they're gonna come out mad and smoke them. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Breeze could put up some points though against the Giants. That could carry Blake's team. Tavis Murray is gonna do well. I mean, his running backs are way better though. But Barkley's gonna get his.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I think I'll take Blake.
I'm picking Bueno in this one. I think
I like the running
with-
backs for Blake's team better.
No, I do too, but
I think with the buys, I think he's gonna have to pick people up off the waiver, and there's probably not very much there.
I agree.
So
All right. Moving on to our
last game.
last game is Chase against Dylan. Chase has quarterback Sean Watson, running backs are Carlos Hyde and Alvin Kamara, wide receiver are Jarvis Landry and Tyreek Hill, tight end is Tyler Eifert, flex is Deshaun Jackson, kicker is Boswell, and the Texans defense. Dylan has a quarterback Cam Newton who is on a bye in terms of his team, running back TJ Yeldon and Ezekiel Elliott, wide receiver T.Y. Hilton and Adam Thielen. Tight end is Evan Ingram, who's actually going to be out for a couple weeks, which does hurt his team.
Yeldon's value is going to be shit. Right?
Yep. And his flex is Sanders, kicker is Gostkowski, and the Rams defense. Does he have a backup quarterback or tight end? He's Roethlisberger, which
who's
is
probably gonna start.
totally viable
Yeah.
backup, so he's fine
Aaron,
there.
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones is good.
Yeah, so that'll definitely take over Yeldon.
That's probably who you
Um,
will play, or he'll play him or Eckler. But he could. I mean, if McCoy plays though, do you not play? Do you play Aaron Jones over Shady McCoy?
Against
I
Green
don't
Bay.
know if you can.
Yeah.
I really don't know if you can. I don't think Green Bay's defense is anything to be scared of. I'd probably. The confidence they're gonna have, I'd probably play Shady.
Oh.
I want to take Chase's team. I have to ride with the hot hand right now because his team doesn't look that great, but dude, it's scoring a lot of points. So I'm gonna take Chase. I just think Chase lets you out.
Damn. His starting lineup's pretty good, Chase's. I think the tight end going down, if Evan Ingram didn't go down, I'd probably take Dylan. But I think I'll have to take Chase's team in this one too.
Yeah, I think Chase needs to play somebody else besides Deshaun Jackson.
Who else is having his flex? Blunt, Cobb, Sanu, Burton. They had no viable lot. You could play Cobb, but you probably might as well just play Deshaun Jackson.
Yep.
But, all right.
Huh.
I'll take Chase.
All right.
I'm gonna pick Chase.
All right. Well, that's it for our matchups. Anything else before we wrap this thing up?
I don't think so.
Yeah, me neither.
All right, that's it for this week's episode of the Beer League Fantasy Football Podcast. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at Beer League FB. Give us a like on YouTube and leave us a comment, subscribe. It'll really help us out. We really appreciate all the views and all the likes that we're getting. So go ahead, have a good week. Good luck, guys. And thanks a lot. Beer League!
Beer League!